let's go to Norman first. The game's just about to finish. Oklahoma did not get the 2-point conversion. Tennessee's up 25-15, so pretty much has the game in hand. We're going to get to Jackson Arnold. We're going to get to Oklahoma, and now the quarterback controversy that's going to be happening there. But let's start with Tennessee, because Tennessee has been one of the most impressive teams this college football season. I think both UTs have been two of the most impressive teams in college football. And then you had the balls, JD, to say Nico is one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. I said, let's wait and see. Let's pump the brakes. You said no. Just because you're a quarterback, Aaron, you're an idiot. And he's proven it, man. So your overall thoughts of Tennessee and Nico and the win tonight?
Well, one, I appreciate that, Juice. I think time's going to tell how accurate I was on just calling my shot there with young Nico. And I think the thing for me tonight that was impressive was I was expecting if Tennessee's going to win the football game, it'll be a Nico-centric approach. He'll go for 275, 300, account for 4 total touchdowns. And like in a not condescending way at all, like he really kind of managed this game. And some of that could be they were dinged up on the offensive line. Some of that could be they just got a different look from the Oklahoma defense that Josh Heupel mentioned going into half. But overall, like it didn't take next level Avenger Nico to get a win on the road in Norman. And so the fact that you have that play style in your bag, if you're Tennessee, the fact you can win a game that's played in the 20s, I mean, how refreshing is that for the folks in Knoxville when in 2022, it's like, okay, how many times can we punt and still find a way to win? Like they're playing a different style of ball. That front seven is ferocious. I mean, the vibe should be high in Knoxville because of the way you found a way to win this game in Norman.
Well, you have a running back now, too. I mean, Dylan Sampson this entire season has been, I mean, hell, we talk so much about quarterbacks for like Heisman-type seasons. Like, Dylan Sampson's going to be having a Heisman-type season at the running back spot if he continues to play like he does for the first 4 games of the season for Tennessee. But, like, you said it right. Like, this team is built differently. And you take 2 teams in the SEC. We're not going to talk too much in depth about Ole Miss in this one, but what has Lane done to build Ole Miss into a more of a legitimate contender this year? Really good, improved offensive line, and he went to the portal and got 2 of the best guys at the defensive line position. What does Tennessee now have? They have an experienced, really pretty darn good offensive line, and they maybe have the best defensive line and depth at the defensive line position. So, like, all these guys are like these offensive geniuses and do all these things on that side of the football. Hell, look at USC. We'll get to that one too. Like, you still have to understand, JD, like the game is still won in the trenches. If you can't block and tackle and prevent teams from running the football, you may look sexy and it may be fun for fans to go to, but it is difficult to win championships that way. Is this team, Tennessee, built like a championship team? Like, are they truly maybe a top like 3-4 team in America? Not 6, but maybe more like top 5.
Yeah, I think that conversation starts after this game because before, if they had gone in Norman and they lose a close one, you say, okay, well, who had they really beaten? Kent State, Chattanooga, NC State, who got the brakes beat off in the day. Didn't even look competitive against Clemson. But I think to your point, the overall like pedigree and overall talent level they have in that front seven, and what you mentioned too, the depth. Like college football has changed now in this 12-team playoff where you want to win the whole darn thing, which I think Tennessee fans, the expectations are starting to grow in terms of what they want to accomplish in the postseason. You're going to have to win 17 game or play a 17-game season, season. And so the fact that we're, knock on wood, going to get to November here, and Tennessee's still going to have guys they can roll on the defensive line when they play the Alabamas in October, when they play the Georgias, like that, I think is just such a major differentiating factor to what we both spoke to. It's a different Tennessee outfit, and the roster is looking that right now.
Well, and Nico, first true away game, not easy at all. I remember my first true away game was at South Carolina. Good defense, loud environment. This was prime time. Herb Street and the boys are there. All the excitement, Oklahoma's first SEC game, all this stuff that you can kind of, overbuild the game too much as a quarterback, especially a young quarterback, and then go out there and maybe have a couple of mistakes. And he looked cool, calm, collective, making the right decisions. Yeah, a couple of times fumbled the ball and some hits, in the backfield when he was able to locate some blitzes. But overall, to me, you walk away from this saying Nico went on the road, hostile environment, really good defense, great defensive-minded head coach, and played efficient football, like you said, and came out there with a dub. So gives and should give Tennessee fans even more confidence going down the road. So, I mean, Tennessee, I walk away continuing to say one of the most impressive teams to start the football season. Them, Texas, the battle for the true UT is still going to be ongoing all year long. JD, let's look at Oklahoma. It's been a rough start to the season for the offense. They have not looked good. Offensive line is not good. The receivers have been average. Jackson Arnold has been inconsistent. And then tonight, going against Tennessee, all of it just essentially just came crashing down. And we, and Oklahoma fans, truly got to see just how far behind this offense is and the struggles that are probably going to be happening for the majority of the season.
Yeah, and I think you and I were talking about this before we got on the air. Like, the frustrating thing if you're an Oklahoma fan is Jackson Arnold comes in, he's billed as the next guy, right? The next guy in Norman, 5-star quarterback. And I understand whenever you're the quarterback, you're going to take the heat when things don't go well. And Michael Hawkins doing a great job kind of giving them what they need and maybe providing a change-up pitch with his legs. But, like, I feel a little bit robbed in the sense that we haven't actually even got to see if Jackson Arnold can play to that 5-star caliber, because my guy's got like 1.5 Mississippis before he's got James Pierce or someone else in his lap. And so I understand there's a major part of it where you just kind of have to make it work. If you're the quarterback, you have to be the differentiating factor, go above the X's and O's, as they like to say. But overall, like, I don't think that this is like an accurate depiction, or at least I don't feel like we've got enough that we can see yet from a great sample size of who Jackson Arnold's going to be long term. So
no,
if you're an Oklahoma fan.
Yeah, well, it definitely is. I mean, I know that the big talk I saw on social media and the people in the chat right now too is like, oh, you got rid of Dylan Gabriel, who was so good last year, and this is what you wanted to essentially move him on front. Like, listen, like, Jackson Arnold's still a very talented quarterback. He's very green. He's young. Like you alluded to, there's a lot more that needs to be seen. But, like, is he the right guy for Oklahoma right now that has a brand new offensive line? Not great guys on the outside. Just overall, there's not a lot of support around the quarterback. So you have to have a guy that is maybe a little bit more Michael Hawkins Jr.-esque. And Jackson has that, though, which is a little bit interesting. Like, I came into this game saying if Oklahoma's going to have a chance, Jackson Arnold's going to have to do it with his legs, because him being a pocket passer in this offense against Tennessee's defense line is just not going to get it done. And that played out perfectly. Tennessee rattled him early. Tennessee confused him. Tennessee got after him. Tennessee hit him. Negative 21 yards rushing. Like, that is not the type of game that he needed and Oklahoma needed him to have. But I did like the Michael Hawkins Jr. kid, though, JD. Like, he came in there, was kind of like, we were joking, like, he looked like a freshman. There's no worse feeling than walking into a game as a true freshman, primetime football game, a defense that hasn't given up a touchdown in 18 freaking quarters, and you're like, hey, buddy, go win us the fucking football game. And you're just like, I get to that point, you're just like, screw it. You know what? Like, there are no expectations. I'm just going to wing it. And he looked like he was winging it. He was having a good time. He made some incredible throws, 11 of 18, 132, a touchdown. That freaking flip that wasn't called a touchdown was awesome. Like, is there and should there be a quarterback controversy in Oklahoma?
Well, I think to what we're speaking about with Jackson Arnold, and you probably have a better gauge for this, Aaron, like, how do you turn around and tell Jackson Arnold, hey, we have faith in you. Hey, you're our guy going forward. I know we just benched you at halftime of the Tennessee game because you had some things not go your way. He has the fumble, he has the bad pick, and then the weird lateral situation. Like, I don't know how after week 4 you look at him and say, hey, you're our guy when we play LSU. You're our guy going in the Red River. Like, and I've never played quarterback at the level that he's playing at or you're playing at, but I would have to imagine, like, psychologically, that would mess with me. That would make me play even worse. And so I don't want to say you burn the boats on the Jackson Arnold experience, but there is something to be said for the way the offense looked with Michael Hawkins and the extra electricity he had on the ground. Like, that might be what you need if you're Oklahoma here going forward to be successful.
We will see. I know the way he played probably earned a lot of respect from the coaches, the fans, and his players because he played ball. So I'm not saying like Jackson doesn't play like that. Like, Jackson is someone that, you know, he runs the football. He's laying the boom a little bit too much. So I think both those guys are not afraid to lay it on the line for their team and to move the chains and get in the end zone, no doubt about it. But, like, Michael earned a lot of respect across the country tonight. So it will be interesting to see what Oklahoma does going forward. Quick chat before we move on to the next game from Brody. Aaron, what does Tennessee have to do to make the SEC championship game is what they're doing sustainable? I think it is 100%. I think Tennessee right now, like, if Tennessee in Alabama was tomorrow, I would pick Tennessee to win the football game. And
Ooh,
it's going to be in Knoxville. Last time they played there, they won.
yeah,
Tennessee
yeah.
was winning at halftime last year with Joe Milton at quarterback. This is a better Tennessee football team. We're going to learn a lot about Alabama next week, a lot about Alabama. So maybe that thought's going to change. But you look at their schedule, Arkansas is going to be a good game. They get a bye before that. Florida, but like you should win every game, and then bam, all of a sudden, November 16th, you're on the road against Georgia. But even 11-1 Tennessee probably going to be in Atlanta. So definitely can do that. No doubt about it.